For my policy advocacy project, I decided to create a policy that focuses on the lack of mental health services available to people who are living in poverty. I decided to choose this topic because I feel like it is often ignored, and there's an extreme lack of mental health awareness, services, and supports for people who come from extreme low income situations. So I actually created this policy because I could not find any current policies within the 2023 legislative session that touched upon mental health for low-income individuals. And so I wanted my policy to specifically say that there's a state mandate for there to be at least one mental health clinic within a 10-mile radius for neighborhoods with average annual household incomes of $30,000 or less. So I thought $30,000 specifically because I believe the Connecticut poverty line is $35,000. And I wanted the language to be very specific because I often feel like the problem with the implementation of current policies is the overgeneralization of language within the bill itself. So I thought that would be a very important aspect to include. And then the ultimate social justice related outcome for society is that it improves the overall quality of mental health for people living in poverty. So the resources that I thought would be important to include in this policy would be mental health providers. This could be LCSW, psychologists, LPCs, LMFTs, so on, as well as legislators and policymakers, people living in poverty, and wealthier individuals. So as for the mental health providers, I thought it was important to include them because these are the key people that are involved within this bill. I think it is important to find mental health providers to support this bill that specifically take Husky or Medicaid, being that people who live in poverty either don't have health insurance, and if they do, it's often state insurance, which is Husky or Medicaid. And I thought it was important to try to convince them to support the bill, to engage in the outreach and spreading the word about the bill, because it shows that if the people who have to do majority of the work within the legislation is willing not only to do the work, but they also want to do the work and they love the work that they do, I just think that it just screams success for the overall policy. And so the overall social justice related outcomes for them, I thought it would be included that, basically that they would be a part of providing the adequate amount of services to these people. They will offer quality and service, and also this policy would essentially provide them with more mental health jobs. So I thought it would be really, really important to include them and kind of get them to push for it. As far as the legislators and policymakers, I thought they were really important to kind of get them on board. We have to do outreach, we have to organize and get them on board, see if they like it, see if they'll pass it. They are very important because these are the people that we're trying to prove to pass this policy. So if they are in full agreement of it, the policy is essentially green light, and then it's on. And so the ultimate social justice related outcomes for them within the connection to the policy would be that these clinics are successfully built, they're operated, the expansions of services is continued, and that these legislators actually start inquiring about similar types of legislation to be introduced, so that the efforts around mental health awareness and just mental health service and the quality of it is just enhanced, and it's almost like contagious at that point. It's just spreading throughout the state, which would be great. And then another key player would be the people living in poverty. So these people are, of course, the most important. This is the policy specifically affects them. So getting them on board, getting them aware of this is very important, because once one is aware, another's aware, and continuing the outreach can kind of help it spread like wildfire and kind of push for the success of the bill, because it shows that the people that this bill affects want this bill, and that's the most important. And so the ultimate social justice related outcome for them associated with the policy is that they will receive quality mental health services, and that the community morale will be heightened, and that there will be less community violence and or crime. Finally, we have the wealthier individuals. They're also important, similar to the people living in poverty, because these people may be on the opposition. These are the people who are funding the bill. Their tax money is going towards it. They can invest. So we want to prepare them to testify. We want to get them to advocate, because if other wealthy individuals see that they're willing to invest in it, hopefully they would too. And so the ultimate goal is that they kind of push for the bill. They kind of fight back against those who oppose it, and that they ask other people to invest